Have you ever experienced a growing sense of frustration towards someone you once held in high regard? A companion who may have once been your closest confidant. Yet, as time has gone by, you find yourself feeling increasingly estranged from them? In the context of a long-term marriage or relationship, it's common to encounter shifts, particularly as time progresses and situations evolve. What are the underlying reasons for this occurrence? And what strategies can we employ to manage these emotions effectively? In today's video, we will explore the unexpected factors that may cause some women to develop feelings of resentment towards their husbands as they age. We will discuss the emotional and practical challenges that contribute to this change and offer insights on how to address and overcome these issues. Discover authentic experiences and acquire essential knowledge on maintaining joy in relationships as one navigates the later stages of life. If you have ever contemplated the reasons behind these emotions or are looking for methods to strengthen your bond with your partner, this video is tailored for you. Be sure to stay tuned until the conclusion for insights that could assist in rekindling the connection that might seem diminished. Before we start, I would be grateful if you could like this video to help me continue sharing valuable insights on aging. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly encourage you to do so and activate the notification bell to ensure you stay updated with all the videos. If you appreciate this video, kindly comment with a 1. If it doesn't resonate with you, please comment with a 0. Your feedback is valuable in helping me create improved content for you. Let us begin our journey. This situation has placed me in a persistent state of frustration and sadness, steadily impacting my mental well-being. I noticed a gradual descent into a state of depression, increasingly depending on medication to navigate daily life. Deep down, I feel a strong desire to escape this situation. If I could discover a means to separate from him, I would willingly do so, leaving him with all our possessions and stepping away to embrace the remainder of my life on my own terms. However, at the age of 60 and beyond, ending a marriage is not a straightforward answer. The societal perceptions surrounding it, particularly at my stage in life, can be quite daunting. Bringing this matter to public attention would likely result in me being ridiculed by those in the community. The criticism, the chatter, the mockery, it can be overwhelming to endure. Even though my desire to leave is strong, I've had to come to terms with the reality of my situation, accepting a life that doesn't align with my aspirations. My children have all attained commendable achievements in their professional lives. They occupy leadership positions. And I understand that a divorce would not only bring them personal shame, but could also jeopardize their professional reputation. I find it difficult to inflict that level of distress upon them. The consideration of the far-reaching consequences, a damaged reputation, potential career obstacles, and the embarrassment that may follow, compels me to remain quiet. I find it difficult to even consider discussing the topic of divorce with my husband. The repercussions are undeniably significant. In the stillness of my thoughts, I often ponder the reasons behind the deep-seated resentment I feel toward him. I experience a profound aversion whenever I see him, a sentiment that even influences my appetite. Just the thought of him can occasionally make me feel nauseous, diminishing my appetite. I find myself pondering how circumstances have led us to this point. How did I find myself in a situation where I can no longer tolerate the individual I've shared my life with for so long? From the outset, my husband has consistently exhibited a rugged demeanor, and throughout the years, he has remained unchanged. From the very beginning of our journey together, he has consistently entrusted me with his paycheck, placing the responsibility of managing our finances in my hands. He has consistently shown a lack of interest in participating in household chores, delegating all responsibilities to me. I have consistently taken on the responsibility of managing the household, including cooking, cleaning, and overseeing all aspects of daily life. As our children established their own families, they became increasingly occupied with their careers and the responsibilities of nurturing their young ones. Out of a sense of care, I volunteered to assist with the grandchildren. I understood the importance of providing support, so I made it my responsibility to care for them while they were occupied, allowing them to focus without the concern of their children's needs. Since the day they entered this world, I have been the primary caregiver for both of our grandchildren, nurturing them while their parents dedicated themselves to their professional pursuits. Despite sharing the same home, my husband has never offered assistance with any tasks. I found myself in a position where I had to take on all the responsibilities, preparing meals, maintaining a tidy home, and looking after the children. It seemed as though there was an absence of moments dedicated to my own well-being, leaving no opportunity to relax or rejuvenate. During times of feeling overwhelmed, I found myself wishing he would offer assistance with the children, allowing me a brief respite, even if just for a moment. However, he never followed through. He observed my exhaustion and the many responsibilities I was managing. Yet he remained seated, fixated on his phone, seemingly unconcerned with my challenges. He enjoys a relaxed and untroubled lifestyle. His daily routine consists of waking up, watching television, eating, and sleeping, which encompasses the full range of his responsibilities at home. He is not contributing in any way to assist me, and I have grown quite upset. We have frequent disagreements, and I often express my concerns about his self-centered behavior. He understands the effort I put in and the fatigue I experience, yet he remains unwilling to help ease my burden. Rather than recognizing his own shortcomings, he shifts the responsibility onto me, claiming that I am the architect of my own difficulties by shouldering too much responsibility, suggesting that I have invited this struggle into my life. His remarks are deeply frustrating, and I find myself wanting to firmly ask him to leave, to exit my home permanently. If you are continuing to engage with this video and are finding the lessons beneficial, kindly comment the number 1 below to indicate your ongoing participation in this learning experience. I appreciate your valuable time. However, he is unwilling to provide assistance, leaving me to face everything on my own. After caring for my grandchildren until they were ready for school and no longer required my assistance, I believed that at last, I would have some time to focus on my own life. I imagined embarking on journeys, enjoying some well-deserved rest, and treating myself for all the years of dedication I had put in. I envisioned exploring destinations I've longed to experience and enjoying the liberty to pursue my desires. However, just as I was starting to formulate those plans, destiny had other ideas. My husband's health has significantly deteriorated. His long-term smoking habits finally took a toll on his health, leading to hospitalization due to chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. My husband has consistently been a heavy smoker. He consumes a pack of cigarettes daily, and each morning, without exception, his routine begins with lighting a cigarette. He takes pleasure in it even before attending to his dental hygiene or cleansing his face. He consistently chooses to purchase the most inexpensive, lowest quality cigarettes, avoiding the investment in higher quality options. I've repeatedly emphasized to him that smoking excessively and using low-quality cigarettes poses significant risks to his health. It's crucial for him to reduce his intake or, at the very least, consider switching to higher quality options to mitigate those risks. However, he is quite set in his ways and resistant to advice. He maintains that he prefers to smoke inexpensive cigarettes rather than cut back on his consumption. Despite my persistent efforts to communicate and reason with him, he continues to act according to his own desires, disregarding the harm he is inflicting on his own health. Meanwhile, his health is deteriorating quickly, primarily as a result of his ongoing smoking habit. Each evening, as he prepares for sleep, he experiences severe coughing fits that are quite distressing, causing me considerable concern and unease. Initially, I didn't give it much consideration. I had become accustomed to the intermittent cough as a regular aspect of his routine, something that would subside once he found rest for the night. However, one evening, everything transformed. His cough was more pronounced, resonating deeper, and persisted for an extended duration compared to what is typical. Initially, I attempted to dismiss it, convincing myself that it was merely another episode of coughing. However, on this occasion, the coughing was so severe that he appeared to be having difficulty breathing, and his face flushed a deep red from the exertion. The veins in his forehead were prominently distended, and the fear was clearly visible in his eyes. It was evident that there was an issue at hand. My heart raced, and in a moment of urgency, I swiftly called for an ambulance, emphasizing the need to transport him to the hospital without delay. Following a comprehensive assessment at the hospital, the physician identified the condition as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, commonly referred to as COPD. The physician conveyed that there was significant damage to his lungs, necessitating hospitalization for appropriate treatment. The doctor clearly advised my husband that continuing to smoke would pose a serious threat to his health and longevity. The physician's tone was resolute and earnest, advising him to cease smoking without delay. My husband acknowledged my concerns, committing to stop and implement changes for his well-being. However, once the doctor exited the room, I noticed my husband's determination wane. He would discover subtle methods to continue smoking. If I concealed his cigarettes, he would head to the convenience store, purchase a new pack, and then sneak off to the bathroom to smoke privately. I found myself feeling quite frustrated and upset by his obvious neglect of his well-being. How could he behave so carelessly, particularly considering he is just over 60? I would express my concern, questioning how he could be so neglectful regarding his well-being. In response, he would shrug and say something dismissive like, "I've experienced enough in life. What's the value of living without smoking? Without the ability to smoke, I find life to be lacking in value." He appeared to show little regard for the repercussions of his behavior, and this disregard also extended to my well-being. The exposure to secondhand smoke significantly impacted my ability to breathe, and I found it distressing to be compelled to inhale it on a daily basis. I came across an article online stating that secondhand smoke poses even greater risks than smoking itself, and this information intensified my frustration. I felt a deep frustration regarding the impact his addiction was having on my well-being. We had engaged in numerous discussions, attempting to persuade him to quit smoking, yet all those efforts proved fruitless. In his earlier days, even with a heavy smoking habit, his breath remained surprisingly fresh and bearable. However, in our later years, even his breath carried a strong odor of smoke, and the scent was quite overpowering. I reached my limit. His smoking had impacted his health in various other aspects as well. His teeth exhibited a yellow stain from years of nicotine use, reflecting not only an unappealing appearance but also a concerning neglect of his oral health. Despite my earnest requests for him to maintain proper dental hygiene, he consistently declined to do so when he spoke to me at close range. The unpleasant odor of his breath was overwhelming, making it difficult for me to maintain eye contact. Over the years, his snoring had increasingly intensified, and now it was so loud that it disrupted my sleep every night. I suggested that he sleep in the living room to allow me some much-needed rest, but he declined the idea. He firmly maintained that the main bedroom offered greater comfort, and he was resolute in his stance. I attempted to make my way to the living room, but each time I reached for my blanket to depart, he would tug me back, preventing my escape. If I were to insist on leaving, he would initiate a loud argument, his voice resonating throughout the house and disrupting the entire neighborhood. To avoid conflict, I chose to remain in the bedroom, enduring countless sleepless nights beside his persistent snoring. Each night, I struggled to find restful sleep, often relying on brief daytime naps to catch up on rest. This disrupted schedule was adversely affecting my well-being. The persistent fatigue has left me feeling depleted, both in body and mind, and I recognize that this condition cannot continue for much longer without significantly impacting my overall health. Whenever I experience discomfort, it only heightens my feelings of resentment toward him. My feelings of disdain for him intensify with each day that goes by. It is quite frustrating that he appears to prioritize his own needs, showing little regard for the impact his actions have on me. In earlier times, even during moments of neglect regarding personal hygiene, he consistently maintained a neutral scent. However, with the passage of time, The unmistakable aroma of aging has become a persistent presence, making it difficult to overlook. He recognizes the odor, yet he shows little concern for improving his hygiene. Each time I attempt to motivate him to take a shower, I find myself needing to reiterate my request multiple times before he eventually responds. It feels as if my words carry no significance whatsoever. He frequently overlooks the importance of dental hygiene and often retires for the night without cleansing his feet, resulting in unpleasant odors permeating the bedding. The odor from his feet can become quite intense, and if he neglects to clean them or brush his teeth before bedtime, I find myself faced with the unwelcome chore of washing the bedsheets and pillowcases the next day to eliminate the lingering smell that has permeated the room. If you are continuing to engage with this video and appreciate the lessons being shared, kindly comment number 2 below to indicate your ongoing participation in this learning experience. I appreciate your time and insights. I have a few friends who are of similar age, and their husbands resemble mine, becoming increasingly unkempt and indifferent as the years go by. Whenever we come together, it frequently turns into an opportunity for everyone to express their frustrations regarding their husbands. By expressing our frustrations and burdens, we create a supportive environment that helps us feel a bit more at ease, reminding us that we are not isolated in our challenges. In my younger years, I often imagined a future where my husband and I would age gracefully together, sharing a joyful life side by side until our final days. However, as time has gone by, I increasingly feel a strong aversion to the thought of sharing another day with him. I find it increasingly difficult to face him each morning. I'm uncertain whether this feeling originates from within me or from him, yet I recognize that each day presents an overwhelming challenge. As if I am enduring a form of punishment, I sense a profound sense of entrapment in my current existence. Overwhelmed by feelings of despair and disillusionment, each day seems to bring an ongoing struggle for mental peace. The narrative of a woman who slowly develops feelings of resentment towards her husband is not an uncommon situation. It highlights the complex and changing dynamics of marital relationships over time, particularly as individuals advance into their later years. The passage of time in a shared life can lead to significant psychological and lifestyle transformations for both individuals, frequently culminating in an increasing emotional distance between them. This prompts an important inquiry. What causes women, after many years of marriage, to feel increasingly unable to remain with a partner they once cherished so profoundly? What leads older women to experience fatigue in their relationships with their husbands? A notable aspect is the disparity in the distribution of family responsibilities. In their younger years, many wives frequently accepted and overlooked their husband's flaws, driven by love or a commitment to their children. However, as individuals advance in years and their well-being starts to wane, the responsibilities of looking after grandchildren increase. Concurrently, the demands of household responsibilities can feel increasingly overwhelming. Wives often experience heightened fatigue, particularly when their husbands display indifference, continuing to lead carefree lives without sharing any responsibilities. The growing imbalance in the relationship slowly evolves into frustration, leading to a profound sense of dissatisfaction in the wife. Furthermore, as women age, they often develop a heightened sense of self-awareness. Having moved past the daily demands of work and raising children, they now find themselves with ample opportunity to contemplate their lives. Individuals often come to understand the sacrifices they've made and subsequently embark on a journey to rediscover their happiness. In this period of contemplation, individuals frequently begin to observe imperfections in their partners that may have been previously ignored or minimized because of affection, hectic schedules, or the pressures of everyday responsibilities. This transition reflects a deepening of understanding rather than a decline in affection. As individuals gain insight into the essential aspects of life, considering divorce can frequently arise in these circumstances, yet it remains a challenging decision, particularly for those in their later years. For a woman who has spent decades in marriage, divorce signifies more than just the conclusion of a partnership. It introduces a range of additional worries, including the anxiety of solitude, the effects on family standing, and the possible repercussions for children and the broader community. Consequently, the inquiry arises, is divorce the right choice for me? Is not a straightforward matter. It requires a careful consideration of individual rights alongside communal obligations. From a certain viewpoint, divorce may appear as a means of liberation, a path to alleviate distress and attain a more serene, spiritually fulfilling existence. However, prior to reaching that conclusion, it is essential to consider whether divorce would genuinely address the fundamental issues at hand. Discontent in a marriage can arise from various factors, including feelings of neglect, emotional disconnection, or frustration stemming from unmet needs. These matters might be addressed without the need for a divorce. Rather, these issues may be resolved through transparent dialogue and a mutual commitment from both individuals to modify their perspectives and actions. Engaging in a candid dialogue could serve as the initial move towards revitalizing the connection and reestablishing harmony. A readiness to engage in open dialogue and adapt can foster a greater comprehension and strengthen the bond, potentially avoiding the need to dissolve the marriage. What measures can be taken to maintain family happiness? Family happiness is not a given, nor is it something that stays the same over time. Maintaining joy in a relationship is an ongoing endeavor that necessitates consistent effort and a deep mutual understanding from both partners, particularly as time progresses. Embracing change is the initial and arguably the most crucial step in this journey. The process of aging is a natural aspect of life, influencing not only our physical appearance but also our personality and emotional landscape. As we age, we gain a deeper understanding of our physical and emotional vulnerabilities. This calls for a profound understanding, tolerance, and compassion from both partners. Rather than clinging to the expectations and routines established during the earlier, more vibrant years of the relationship, both partners should cultivate a fresh outlook on each other. It is essential to acknowledge that every individual experiences their own fears, concerns, and insecurities while facing the complexities of growing older. Effective communication is essential for maintaining a strong and healthy relationship over time. It is important for older couples to remember that, despite many years of companionship, maintaining regular communication is crucial. One might easily take for granted that the connection is solid and that additional effort is unnecessary. However, even the most resilient connections require ongoing care and attention. An open dialogue, where both individuals express their thoughts, feelings, and concerns, can rekindle a sense of connection and remind them of the intimacy they once enjoyed. Sharing feelings and addressing unvoiced concerns enables both parties to experience validation and understanding. If you are continuing to engage with this video and find the lessons beneficial, kindly comment number 3 below to indicate your ongoing participation in this learning experience. I appreciate your time and insights. Alongside effective communication, it is essential to prioritize quality time spent together. In the later stages of marriage, as children become independent and the demands of work and parenting ease, couples have the opportunity to rejuvenate their connection. Spending quality time together through new experiences, travel, or peaceful moments at home can help restore the happiness that may have faded over time. Once the busy days of child-rearing have passed, it becomes a chance to reconnect and explore new experiences that may have been set aside due to prior commitments. It's essential to focus on creating new experiences for the future instead of clinging to what has already happened. Ultimately, to maintain family harmony, it is essential to recognize that marriage is not without its imperfections. Every relationship, regardless of its strength, will encounter challenges, conflicts, and instances of frustration. It is essential to recognize that marriage is not about an unrealistic ideal, but rather about accepting the various challenges and joys that accompany it. Over time, resentment can accumulate, particularly in long-term relationships, and this is an experience that many seniors encounter. Nonetheless, it is crucial to understand that these emotions do not necessarily indicate the conclusion of a relationship. Instead of perceiving divorce or separation as the only option, Couples ought to concentrate on discovering methods to heal, forgive, and restore the bond that may have weakened over the years. Love, in its essence, may not always manifest as an intense flame. At times, it is a gentle, lasting warmth that requires careful attention and a commitment to rekindle through patience and effort. Maintaining family happiness involves nurturing a relationship grounded in mutual acceptance, understanding, and a shared commitment to continuous effort and collaboration. We appreciate your time in viewing our video. If you found these insights valuable and informative, please remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and enable notifications so you can stay updated on our future videos. Our aim is to share narratives and life philosophies that foster uplifting viewpoints and provide support throughout your life journey. Now, let us hear the uplifting journey of Anne and John, a couple who have navigated the trials of a long-term partnership, reestablished their bond, and reignited their affection in their golden years. Their journey exemplifies not only the strength of their lasting partnership but also serves as an insightful reminder of the importance of empathy, kindness, and perseverance, attributes that we can all adopt and implement in our connections with others. Anne and John have shared more than 40 years of marriage, journeying through the various phases of family life and encountering the joys and challenges of raising children, adapting to career transitions, and managing the natural evolution of their relationship. They were once a couple whose affection for one another radiated warmly, brimming with optimism for what lay ahead. As their children matured and ventured out on their own, their lives transformed in ways that neither had fully foreseen. John, embracing a refreshing enthusiasm in his retirement, dedicated increasing amounts of time to his garden, deeply engaging with his plants. Conversely, experienced a growing sense of isolation and loneliness, as the previously lively home started to seem empty and subdued. During the joyful early years of their union, Anne and John shared a profound love for one another. John, a dedicated engineer, and Anne, an aspiring teacher, crossed paths at a school dance and soon recognized their strong connection. Their married life commenced with joy as they created a home, embraced 2 children, and fostered a stable family environment. John dedicated himself to ensuring his family had everything they needed, while Anne prioritized her role at home, focusing on raising their children and maintaining the household. Throughout their lives, they created a wealth of cherished moments, from nurturing their children to enjoying family getaways. As time passed and the children matured, venturing out to carve their own paths, and started to experience a deepening sense of void in her life, the once lively and energetic home, filled with joy and activity, now stood in an unsettling silence. Their oldest son, Jack, has gone off to college, while their youngest daughter, Emily, has relocated to another city for her job. The once vibrant home now seemed to carry a chill, and Anne found it increasingly difficult to overlook the widening emotional gap that had developed between her and John. Even in their shared physical presence, the bonds between them appeared to be fading. Upon retiring, John discovered a newfound enthusiasm for gardening. He dedicated countless hours daily to nurturing his plants, deriving immense joy and satisfaction from witnessing the blossoming of his flowers. However, this newfound interest appeared to create more distance in their marriage rather than fostering closeness. Sensing a lack of support, sought assistance from John, requesting help with minor household chores such as repairing a dripping faucet or organizing the yard. John, often absorbed in his gardening activities, would hesitantly consent but would quickly lose focus or become sidetracked, and found herself feeling more and more overlooked and disheartened. Yet she chose to maintain the peace, silently bearing her sense of isolation. Despite her visible signs of distress, John remained oblivious, absorbed in his gardening pursuits, and steadfast resilience ultimately prompted her to reflect on the robustness of their relationship. Could they find a way to reconnect and address the emotional distance that had developed between them? Would they rediscover the bond they once cherished? Or was their union fated to wither like the blooms in John's garden? It was a question that burdened Anne's heart, yet she remained determined to persevere. Their narrative, akin to numerous others, serves as a poignant reminder that nurturing relationships requires dedication, empathy, and an openness to embrace the transformations that accompany the passage of time. One day, sensing a profound desire to restore the affection in her marriage, and resolved to create a special dinner for John, she thoughtfully chose dishes that he cherished, believing that a considerate meal would foster a positive change and enable them to enjoy more meaningful moments together. She wished for an opportunity to reconnect and engage in conversation. Upon arriving home, John offered a brief compliment about the meal but chose not to stay and savor it with her. Instead, he promptly withdrew to the garden, continuing his tasks as though everything remained the same, and sat by himself at the table, her heart heavy with concern. She had dedicated considerable effort to crafting a lovely evening, yet it seemed her hard work had gone unrecognized and unvalued. She remained silent, yet within her, a subtle resentment started to grow, anchoring itself in her chest like a burdensome weight. As time progressed, the emotional gap between them appeared to expand further. The pivotal moment occurred when and faced a significant health crisis. She felt completely drained and needed to remain in bed all day, wishing John would recognize her situation and extend his assistance. However, John persisted with his daily activities, tending to the garden early in the morning and only coming indoors sporadically for a brief refreshment. He was deeply focused on his tasks, unaware of Anne's distress. It was only in the evening, while John was getting ready for bed, that Anne, feeling weak, softly inquired, "Did you notice I've been unwell all day?" John was taken aback, his surprise clear, yet rather than providing solace or showing empathy, he merely replied, "Oh, why didn't you mention it sooner?" and proceeded to prepare for bed without any additional consideration, experiencing a profound emotional ache that surpassed the physical distress of her condition. It felt as if her heart had shattered. The awareness that John appeared indifferent to her health and emotions left her feeling profoundly isolated and forsaken in their union. As time passed, the emotional distance between them widened, leaving Anne with the sense that she was navigating a marriage devoid of genuine connection. She could no longer identify the man she had once wed, the compassionate, attentive companion who had once shared her aspirations and anxieties. Now, even though they shared the same home, it seemed as if they were two unfamiliar individuals navigating their own separate paths, and reached a difficult realization that without change, she would remain in a state of loneliness, despite being in a marriage. She understood the importance of making a choice that would benefit her health and overall happiness. If you are continuing to engage with this video and are finding the lessons beneficial, kindly comment number 4 below to indicate that you are still following along with me. I appreciate your time and insights. One afternoon, while enjoying a stroll in the park close to her residence, and came across a gathering of women engaged in painting beneath the shelter of a tree. A local art club extended a warm invitation for her to become a member. Initially, and felt a sense of uncertainty, as it had been many years since she last held a paintbrush, as she observed them with their easels, crafting beautiful and expressive pieces of art. A feeling began to awaken within her. She recognized that painting could provide her with an opportunity to articulate her feelings, a means to rediscover her inner self and her creative spirit. She made the choice to give it a try. As the weeks went by, and discovered a newfound enthusiasm for painting, she discovered liberation in each stroke, delight in the hues, and a feeling of achievement in every finished work. She eagerly anticipated the painting sessions, experiencing a renewed sense of vitality and inspiration that she hadn't felt in years. Each evening, she came home from her art classes feeling revitalized, brimming with renewed energy and a strong sense of purpose. However, John, deeply engrossed in his gardening, was unaware of the changes she was undergoing. He remained absorbed in his plants, seldom aware of the change in Anne's mood. He seemed to inhabit a realm separate from the transformations occurring in his wife. After months of feeling overlooked and disregarded, and resolved it was time to engage in a candid discussion with John, one evening, as they gathered for dinner, She found it impossible to keep her emotions bottled up any longer. Have you noticed that we seem to be drifting apart? She inquired softly. John was initially surprised by her words, but as he gazed into her eyes, he started to grasp the profound nature of her suffering, and continued, her voice quivering with emotion as she spoke. She recalled the moment she had requested John's assistance with household tasks, only for him to consent and subsequently overlook it, as his thoughts were consistently consumed by his garden. She recounted the day she had been unwell, yearning for his understanding, yet he seemed unaware of her struggles. Each of these moments, which may have appeared minor to John, had slowly taken a toll on her, resulting in a growing sense of isolation and neglect within their marriage. John absorbed the information, his sense of remorse intensifying with each statement. He had never understood how his oversight, even in its most minor instances, had affected and so profoundly. Apologies were offered in a soft tone. I wasn't aware that you were experiencing such feelings of isolation. I have been deeply immersed in my own experiences. I recognize that my actions have been self-centered, and it was never my intention to cause you to feel this way. The discussion signified a pivotal moment. John started to take steps towards improvement. He began dedicating more time to and focusing on her needs and engaging in attentive listening. He made the choice to participate in the painting class alongside her, although he lacked a genuine interest in art and possessed no talent for it. He understood its significance too and wished to engage in her new journey. He viewed it as an opportunity to reestablish a bond, not merely through the act of painting, but by engaging in an experience that brought her happiness. Their painting sessions evolved into a cherished time for both individuals. They not only engaged in artistic creation together, but they also started to rekindle the bond they had previously cherished. John took the initiative to organize small weekend outings, reminiscent of the enjoyable times they once shared in their younger days, which had been overlooked for quite some time. They ventured into new parks, towns, and restaurants, creating fresh memories and reigniting the connection in their marriage that had felt distant for an extended period. Who had previously experienced feelings of neglect and invisibility, now discovered a renewed sense of being acknowledged, appreciated, and cherished. She understood that, at times, actively engaging is essential to restore a relationship, rather than merely hoping for change to occur. It is essential to be open, to share emotions, and to initiate the journey toward recovery. John, in his journey, became more attuned to his wife's emotional needs and learned to honor the aspects of life that contributed to her joy. Their marriage, which had been teetering on the edge of quiet loneliness, found new life through understanding, open communication, and a mutual dedication to reconnecting. The narrative of Anne and John exemplifies the remarkable strength of communication, empathy, and mutual understanding in sustaining a long-lasting marriage. After more than 4 decades of sharing their lives, they encountered numerous challenges, yet they approached each one with resilience and determination. Instead, they faced their challenges directly, opting to evolve and support one another through the process. Throughout their journey, they recognized the significance of genuinely hearing one another, embracing vulnerability, and exploring innovative methods of communication. Through this process, they managed to reconnect with the profound emotional bond that they believed had faded over time. Marriage, much like the journey of life, often presents its fair share of challenges. For Anne and John, it was their steadfast dedication to each other, supported by patience, love, and a genuine desire to comprehend one another, that enabled them to rekindle the happiness in their relationship. Their story serves as a poignant reminder that, with the passage of time, love has the potential to flourish and transform, as long as both individuals are open to adapting and developing alongside one another. Through their example, we are reminded that genuine affection isn't defined by flawlessness, but rather by the collective commitment to adjust, pardon, and persist in fostering the connection that united them. In life and marriage, one must recognize that it is essential to acknowledge not only the joyful occasions but also the challenges that come along the way. it is vital to nurture forgiveness, patience, and tolerance, particularly in difficult moments. Selfishness and neglect can significantly undermine the core of any relationship. However, by fostering empathy, engaging in active listening, and cultivating understanding, partners can create a bond that is much more resilient. Let and John's experience guide us to consistently cultivate our connections, prioritizing love and enabling it to flourish in fresh and significant ways. Wishing you the insight to nurture love, the bravery to confront challenges as a team, and the determination to sustain a joyful, harmonious family life. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We trust that you have acquired meaningful perspectives on the intricacies of marriage, the hurdles that numerous couples encounter as time progresses, and the significance of communication, empathy, and collaborative effort in nurturing a caring relationship. What insights have you gained from the narrative presented today? We would greatly appreciate your insights. We invite you to share your insights below, highlighting one lesson you've gained and your intentions for incorporating it into your daily life. If you found this video helpful, we encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more valuable content. Your support is invaluable to us, and we look forward to sharing more impactful stories and essential insights with you.